Welcome back to Super Lisa Advanced English Vocabulary and Phrases.
And today, we're doing a review of 8 key terms from a recent SpeakDuo lesson. This is really for those of you aiming for that next level of fluency.
Remember, you can go to SpeakDuo.com to meet new people from around the world who are practicing English on video calls to become more confident. So let's just jump right in.
Okay, first up, the noun staple.
Right. So the definition we reviewed is, a main or important element of a diet. The example was rice is a staple in the diet of many Asian countries.
But the common weakness we see is that learners tend to confuse it with just being, important.
Exactly. Understanding the specific economic and cultural weight of the noun staple is paramount. It's not just important, it's foundational.
That's the key distinction, isn't it? It's easy to think, oh, this is an important component, so it's a staple. But that's not quite it.
No, so the suggestion is really to reserve staple for something that's a standard, a foundational commodity, something that's often culturally ingrained.
So if something changes all the time, it's probably not a staple, even if it's essential right now.
Precisely. So in a work context, you might say, our quarterly sales report remains a staple of our decision-making process, unlike the new market analysis, which is just supplementary.
I like that. The report is the bedrock, the thing you always come back to. It really grounds it.
Mm-hmm. And if a foundational resource is a staple, then what about maintaining those resources? That brings us to our second term, to replenish.
Yes. Distinguishing to replenish from more general recovery verbs is so important for precision.
The definition is to fill something up again or restore a supply to its former level. Like, you need to drink water after running to replenish your fluids.
And the weakness is using it interchangeably with to restore. I've heard people say they need to replenish order or something.
Right, and that doesn't quite work. The distinction is that replenish applies specifically to things that are quantifiable or consumable and have been depleted.
Supplies, reserves, energy, things that have been used up. Restore is much broader, isn't it? Like restoring a painting's condition.
Exactly. So in a business context, for instance, it's a very intentional word.
Right, so a manager might say, after that project launch, the team needs time off to fully replenish their creative energy before we start the next phase.
Yes, it signals their energy wasn't just low, it was spent. It needs to be refilled.
Moving from resources to arguments. Let's talk about the adjective contentious.
Okay.
It means causing or likely to cause an argument. The classic example is, politics is a contentious topic at family dinners.
But it's often misused as just a synonym for controversial.
And using contentious to describe active disagreement rather than just general controversy is a real step up.
So what's the core difference? I mean, controversial sounds pretty strong already.
It is, but the suggestion is that contentious implies a more active struggle, a fierce disagreement between defined parties. It's the subject of contention.
I see. So a new company policy might be controversial in the media, but the board meeting where they fight over it is contentious.
Exactly. So for an IELTS-style question, you might say, if the interviewer asks about the new restructuring plan, a highly contentious topic right now, be sure to stick to neutral facts.
That word just immediately signals the high-stakes, argumentative nature of it all. Very precise.
And sometimes avoiding those arguments requires balance, which leads to our fourth phrase, in moderation.
Clarifying that in moderation relates to balanced usage, not just willpower, is a really subtle but important point.
The definition is simple, within reasonable limits. You can eat sweets, but do it in moderation. But the weakness is confusing it with the act of restraint.
I hear that. A student might say, I showed moderation by not having a second piece of cake.
And while that's not technically wrong, it's weak. The idea is that in moderation is about a healthy balance over time. It's about frequency and quantity as a habit.
Whereas with restraint is about that one specific moment of discipline.
Exactly. So restraint is the moment, in moderation is the lifestyle.
That makes perfect sense for talking about modern habits, you could say. I believe technology use is fine, as long as it is done in moderation. Excessive screen time hurts real-world connection.
It's about that sustained, long-term approach.
Okay, from habits to formal actions. Our fifth term is the verb to conduct.
Right. meaning to organize and carry out a specific activity, like an experiment. The scientists plan to conduct a series of experiments.
The mistake is using it for any general action.
Pinpointing to conduct for formal or organized processes is key to sounding professional. It adds a certain weight.
But why not just say execute? I mean, the CEO executed the plan. Sounds very powerful. It does, but execute is more about carrying out an order or a final plan. It emphasizes completion.
Whereas conduct applies more to the structured process itself, like for surveys, research, or formal interviews.
Exactly. It stresses that protocols were followed.
So in a work setting, before we launch the new product line, we must formally conduct a thorough risk assessment following all regulatory protocols.
Using conduct there makes it sound official, procedural, very sharp.
Now, from formal processes to something much more sensory, our sixth verb, to feast on.
Ah, this one is great. Capturing the celebratory and intense enjoyment implicit in to feast on can make your language so much more evocative.
The definition is eating a large amount of food with great enjoyment, like the lions gathered to feast on their prey. The weakness is just equating it with to eat.
But is a lion really enjoying its prey in a celebratory way, or is it just survival?
That's a good point. The suggestion here is that to feast on is for situations of abundance or intense passionate consumption. That passion could be hunger or pleasure. It's always more than just indulging in a small treat.
I see. So feasting implies both volume and intensity.
Right. So for an IELTS speaking part, you might say, the main reason I go to my favorite restaurant is to feast on their signature seafood platter. It's a massive, delicious spread.
That paints a much better picture than just eat their seafood platter. Much more vivid.
And if feasting is about abundance, we also need a word for total removal. Next up, the verb to eliminate.
Highlighting the completeness of removal implied by to eliminate is where this word gets its power.
Is using it when you just mean to reduce.
And in a business context, saying you want to eliminate something can sound really aggressive if that's not what you mean.
It's a huge risk. So you should only use eliminate when total removal is the final goal. You eliminate waste or a competitor. It's different from to terminate for contracts or to discard for rubbish.
So for a clear, decisive statement from management, to streamline our budget, the board decided we need to completely eliminate non-essential travel expenses next quarter.
Yes, that makes it clear. Zero budget, no ambiguity.
Okay, finally, our eighth term, the one that implies total deceit, to fabricate.
It's that distinction all the time. If you change a date on a document, you're falsifying it, right?
Exactly. The suggestion is to distinguish between to fabricate, which is creating something completely new and false, like a story or a set of numbers, and to falsify, which is altering existing data.
Fabrication is building a lie from nothing.
So, in a work investigation, you might hear, the report revealed that the team attempted to fabricate the sales figures for Q3, meaning they invented them entirely.
Using fabricate there immediately signals how serious the misconduct was.
It really does. Okay, that wraps up our deep dive. I think it's time to solidify this with a quick quiz.
Let's do it. We're going to run through 8 questions using the terms we just discussed.
And if you need more time to think, just pause the critique before we reveal the answer. Ready?
Question 1, focusing on staple. While rice is in many diets, its nutritional value depends heavily on the variety and processing method used. Is it option A, fundamental component, option B, staple, or option C, predominant factor?
Feel free to pause here if you need a moment.
And the correct answer is option B, staple. Remember, we said a staple is a main, basic, culturally ingrained commodity.
All right. Question 2 on to replenish. Elite athletes must often their glycogen stores immediately following a high-intensity training session. Is the best fit option A, replenish, option B, reinstate, or option C, refurbish?
Go ahead and pause if you need to think.
The answer is option A, replenish. It's the right word because it's about refilling a depleted supply. In this case, energy reserves used during a workout.
Question 3. Using contentious. The ethical implications of lab-grown meat remain a highly topic among environmentalists and farmers alike.
Is it option A, provocative, option B, contradictory, or option C, contentious?
We're looking for that sense of active, ongoing dispute here.
The answer is option C, contentious. It's the best choice because it implies that active struggle and fierce disagreement between the groups involved.
Okay, question 4 on in moderation. Dietitians suggest that even nutrient-dense foods should be consumed to ensure a balanced intake of minerals. Your choices are option A, in moderation, option B, with restraint, or option C, within limits.
Remember, we're talking about a long-term, sustained balance.
And the answer is option A, in moderation. This phrase is all about healthy limits over time, not a single act of restraint.
Question 5. Using to conduct for a formal process. Researchers were commissioned to a longitudinal study on the long-term effects of plant-based protein sources. Consider option A, execute, option B, conduct, or option C, perform.
Pause here if you need to. We need that formal verb.
The correct answer is option B, conduct. It's the right verb for organizing and carrying out a structured, formal activity like a study.
Question 6 on to feast on. During the annual festival, the local community would gather to traditional dishes prepared by the elders. The choices are option A, indulge in, option B, consume of, or option C, feast on.
We want to capture that feeling of joyful, abundant consumption.
The answer is option C, feast on. It implies that large quantity and intense enjoyment, painting a much more vivid picture.
Next, question 7, focusing on the finality of to eliminate. To improve gut health, some specialists suggest it is necessary to highly processed sugars from one's daily diet. Is it option A, eliminate, option B, terminate, or option C, discard?
This one is about total, complete removal.
The answer is option A, eliminate. This word confirms the goal is the total removal of that item, not just reducing it.
And our final one, question 8, on to fabricate. The investigative report revealed that the company attempted to clinical data to hide the product's side effects. Choose from option A, manipulate, option B, fabricate, or option C, falsify.
We're looking for the word that means inventing something new and false from scratch.
And the answer is option B, fabricate. It means they invented the data entirely, which is different from simply falsifying existing records.
And that brings us to the end of our vocabulary critique. We've covered 8 powerful terms: staple, replenish, contentious, in moderation, conduct, feast on, eliminate, and fabricate.
And the main takeaway really is to always ask yourself if a simpler word is capturing the full weight of what you're trying to communicate. If it involves foundational consistency or total removal or deceitful creation, you need to reach for that more precise term.
Keep pushing yourself to use these sophisticated distinctions. The best way to build that confidence is through live practice.
Absolutely. So visit SpeakDuo.com for your next Connect and Practice session. We look forward to critiquing your advanced English next time.